The bell above the diner door rang at exactly 6 every morning, and every time it did, her heart jumped like it was expecting trouble. Fear had become her alarm clock, her shadow, her constant companion. She wiped the counter with the same careful motion she had used for years, eyes always flicking toward the windows, the parking lot, the road beyond. Living in fear every day had become so normal that she no longer remembered what safety felt like, only that it once existed, somewhere far behind her. If you believe in a silent hero, in second chances, and in the quiet power of kindness that shows up without applause, pause right now and like this video, comment. Share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this live, because people like you choose to keep them alive. Her name was Emily Harper, and the diner was the only place she had ever felt even partially protected. It sat on the edge of a small American town, the kind of place people pass through without noticing, except for the glow of its windows late at night. The diner had saved her once, long ago, when she was younger and running from something she could not name out loud. The owner back then, a tired woman with kind eyes, had given her a job, a back room to sleep in, and a rule that no one ever asked questions unless someone wanted to answer. When that woman passed away, the diner stayed, but the sense of safety slowly cracked. Emily stayed because she had nowhere else to go. She worked long hours, saved what little she could, and learned how to disappear in plain sight. She smiled at customers, poured coffee, remembered orders, and never let anyone get too close. At night, she locked the doors and listened to the building settle, praying the locks would hold and that the past would not find her again. Fear lived in her bones, and she carried it silently, the way people do when they believe no one is coming to help. That was the morning he walked in with his dog. He moved differently from the others, slower, more deliberate, like every step was measured. His shoulders were broad but worn, his posture straight in a way that spoke of discipline rather than pride. The dog stayed close to his leg, calm, alert, eyes scanning the room as if memorizing it. Emily noticed things like that. People who had learned to survive noticed everything. His name was Jack Reynolds, a United States Marine veteran who had returned home with scars that did not show and memories that never slept. After leaving the service, Jack tried to build a normal life, but normal had a way of slipping through his fingers. Jobs came and went. Relationships faded. The world felt louder and less predictable than the structured chaos he had once known. The one constant was his dog, Ranger, trained not just to obey, but to sense when Jack was slipping into the dark corners of his own mind. Jack and Ranger started coming to the diner every morning. Same booth, same order, same quiet nod of thanks. They never rushed. They never lingered in a way that demanded attention. Over time, Emily noticed something else. When certain customers came in loud or aggressive or careless with their words, Jack's presence seemed to change the air. He did nothing obvious. He simply existed, steady and unmovable, and somehow that was enough. Weeks passed, then months. The fear Emily lived with did not vanish, but it softened around the edges. She slept a little deeper. She laughed once, surprised by the sound of it. The diner, without anyone saying out loud, began to feel like an anchor again. Jack noticed the way she flinched at raised voices, the way her smile tightened when someone asked too many questions. He recognized the signs because he carried his own. One night, everything nearly shattered. A man Emily had spent years avoiding appeared outside the diner, just before closing. His presence hit her like ice water. Her hand shook as she locked the door, her breath shallow, mind racing through every escape route that no longer existed. She did not scream. Fear had taught her that screaming often made things worse. Jack was still inside. He saw the change in her face immediately. Ranger rose to his feet, alert. Jack did not ask questions. He simply stayed. When the man tried the door and found it locked, Jack stepped into view, calm and solid, eyes steady. There was no confrontation, no raised voice, just a silent understanding that this was not a place for threats anymore. The man left. Emily broke down after, the years of tension collapsing in on themselves. Jack listened, not as someone waiting to fix things, but as someone who understood what it meant to live with fear as a daily condition. He did not promise miracles. He promised presence. Days later, The diner went up for sale. The new owner wanted to sell quickly, uninterested in the building or the people who relied on it. Emily felt the ground give way beneath her. The diner was more than a job. It was the last place she could breathe. Without it, she would be exposed again, vulnerable in ways she did not think she could survive. Jack saw the fear return, sharper this time. What happened next was not loud or dramatic. Jack and Ranger bought the diner. It took everything Jack had, his savings, his future plans, his sense of safety. But he knew something Emily did not yet understand. Places matter. Safe places save lives. The diner had saved her once. It could do it again. Ownership changed nothing and everything. The menu stayed the same. The hours stayed the same. But the fear that once haunted the walls began to fade. Jack made quiet changes. Better locks. Cameras no one noticed unless they needed to. Clear rules about respect. The diner became known as a place where people could rest without being watched too closely or judged too harshly. Emily stayed. Slowly, carefully, she began to heal. She took on more responsibility, learned how the business worked, and for the first time, imagined a future that did not revolve around escape. The diner filled with new faces and old ones who sensed a shift even if they could not explain it. Veterans stopped by. Families lingered longer. Strangers found comfort in the warmth of a place that asked nothing of them except decency. Jack never called himself a hero. He fixed booths, balanced books, walked Ranger every night. But in small ways, he changed lives. He offered jobs to people no one else would hire. He listened when someone needed to talk. He understood that healing was not a destination, but a process. Years passed. Emily became a partner in the diner, then its manager, then, in time, its owner alongside Jack. The fear that once ruled her life loosened its grip. She slept without listening for footsteps. She laughed without checking the door. She learned that safety could be built, not just hoped for. The diner still glowed at night, a beacon on the edge of town. People said it felt different there, warmer somehow, like the walls remembered what it meant to protect the people inside them. Just before the ending, take a moment to comment below and share what the story stirred in you. Your words matter more than you know. Emily never forgot the days she lived in fear. She kept them close, not as wounds, but as reminders. A reminder that sometimes rescue does not arrive as a grand gesture, but as a quiet man and his dog, sitting in the same booth every morning, choosing to stay. And because they stayed, everything changed.